At this audition for the director's thing, they were like, okay, go really big. And I was like, I got it. I got the energy. The adrenaline's going.
You've never been told to go big and not done well.
That's true.
She's like, okay, bring it back. Let's reel it in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 2K Matt. It's Matt Steele.
It's Matt Palmer.
And so today I posted on Twitter, if you follow me, you should know, but maybe you don't. I had an audition where the room ended in a giant mess because I was instructed to throw things everywhere, but apparently I threw them a little too rough, and then I ended the tweet saying, by the way, I bombed the audition.
Which, by the way, I think in all of my years of knowing is the first time you've ever said, I bombed that audition.
I absolutely bombed this audition.
I can't imagine.
And it's because it was not an acting audition. So we decided to talk about our biggest embarrassing moments throughout our artistic endeavors.
Which is hard for me because I don't do a lot of embarrassing things artistically, but I try.
Maybe it's just because I perform more than you, because I'm an actor, so I'm always like on the go auditioning.
You definitely audition more than I do, but performing's usually when you get the part, so probably equal there.
So I'm going to tell my audition story of the day.
I can't wait to hear it.
My background's in musical theater. I am a performer. Give me a song, give me some choreography, I will dance the shit out of it.
Okay.
After I've rehearsed it. I am not a dancer in the sense that people are looking for dancers.
But do they think just because you have a musical theater background?
That I am a dancer. It's like, no, I'm a good dancer. If I practice. If I go to a dance call, it's not the best, because I'm not going to be in a chorus line anytime soon.
You know what? Everyone's got their something.
Everyone's got their strengths. I'm an actor, I'm a performer. This audition was for a commercial, and it was for some new technology where you like tap your computer and something happens or whatever, so they were like, okay, we need a tap dancer.
Do you know it's for tap dancing?
What?
Do you know it's for tap dancing?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
Why'd you go in?
Okay, I will say that tap dancing is my strongest dancing by far. Because anything with a turn I can't do, but if I'm on my feet, I'm fine. So my agent gets me the audition for this commercial. The premise is like a guy comes tap dancing in, and he's like doing office things as he's tap dancing. So they were like, okay, you need to come in with your own choreography. I told my agent, I was like, look, I can tap dance. If you give me moves to do, I will repeat them. I am not and have never been a choreographer in the slightest. Like, this is very hard for me. I don't think I should go to this. They were just like, no, it's okay. They're just looking for you and they're just looking to see if you can like do some moves. And so I was like, okay, fine. But I was still just like, I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of myself. Which I've done at auditions before, but years, it has been a long time since I have embarrassed myself at an audition.
So what happened?
I worked yesterday, of course. I came home at 11 o'clock and started to come up with a 1-minute tap dance routine to this music that they gave me. So it was like literally 2 in the morning and I was like hoofing on the living room floor. The neighbors below us probably hate me.
Well, they're always playing music way too late anyway.
Yeah, they
so,
can suck it.
They can eat it.
But the goal wasn't to get the commercial. That was just because I knew there were going to be real tap dancers there. The goal was to just not embarrass myself. So I just gave myself some easy, simple moves that I would just remember and that would go with the music.
Okay.
I arrive and there are legitimate hoofers there, like professional, going they're like rehearsing. There was a little room assigned for them or whatever. And of course I was not rehearsing. I would just put my tap shoes on and was just sitting there waiting. So then in commercial auditions they have like groups of 10 come in at a time and like they explain the scenario. So they're like, okay, we have all of these props, a laptop, a CD, a notebook, a chair. We want you to improvise a dance using these props. I had to essentially tell this story with these props. So at this point I knew, oh wow, this choreography that I spent 3 hours in the middle of the night trying to teach myself and learn has just gone out the window. Because I need to work with these props now, and that is the main thing they're looking at. And like, it was a bunch of outdated stuff, and the whole point was like, we need modern technology, so like, what's this notebook? Huh, and throw it. What's this DVD? Throw it. What's this book? Throw it. Laptops, you don't need that. Close it with your foot. I heard everyone in the room before me sound incredible, and they were just tap, tap, tapping tapping away. So it was my time to go in, and the guy's just like, okay, so you can set the room however you want to set it up, you know, whatever you planned out. And I was like, I didn't plan shit out. So I'm like putting the laptop here and the book here and the notebook here and everything. And I was like, I'm gonna call for you to like toss me that chair or whatever. And the guy was like, okay. And I was like planning, I was like, I guess I can sit on the chair and tap. He was just like, okay, so tell me about your tap training. And I was like, well, I went to NYU for musical theater.
That's it, okay.
The music begins, and I start stomping my feet around. Because at this point, I'm just like, okay, be creative with the props. That's what they're looking for. So, of course, any actual tap steps, I'm not thinking about. I'm literally just slapping my feet around on the ground, just doing these non-steps. Like, it's as if a person who had never attempted tap dancing before, if you were just like, you're on Broadway, go. And you had to just like go do something, and I'm like really like, because you know, when I go for it, I go for it. So I'm taking, and they told us to like toss the props. They told us to like toss the props, but I guess I tossed them a little too far. And like occasionally like the guy in the room who was like running the camera had to be like, oh! There was a clipboard that was kind of heavy that I tossed and like hit the wall. Oh. I think they thought that our energy would be focused on the tapping and the tossing would be light, but because I was literally just drowning when I was tapping, like the focus was not there. The focus was just like toss.
How far into it were you when you're like, this is going terrible?
Oh, 2 seconds in. And so I end it. I just end it. And then I looked up and the guy was just like, okay, thanks.
Oh!
And I was just like, thank you. And as I was leaving, I was like, I just peeked my head in the door. I was like, I hope I didn't break anything. And he was like, I hope so too.
Oh, sweetie!
I could tell that he wasn't mad that I was like throwing stuff so hard. You could tell he was just mad that like I just wasted his time. That I was just this non-dancer in this dance audition. I wasn't even mortified at this point. At this point, I was just like, well, my life sucks.
What would you do if that came up again, like this kind of audition came up again tomorrow? Your agents were like, we really want you to go in for like you know, swimming audition. We want you to do the butterfly, we for like an Olympics commercial, Cheerios. Like, what do you do?
I could fake a butterfly stroke better than I could improvise tap. I can tap dance. I can legitimately tap dance, but improv tap is a whole nother beast. That's like asking like me to like suddenly be able to know how to riff.
Well, again, I told you I have fewer things to talk about because my artistic life has been pretty iconic. So
it's just because your artistic life is like fully controlled by you.
It is. I do.
He records himself.
Yes.
And he has all the controls.
I do. It's great to have all the control.
See, I have to like audition.
No, auditioning is not for me. As a child, and I don't really do this as much now, but you know, I love my sleep.
Okay.
As a young person, I was very big on napping. That was always my goal.
As a young person?
Yes! I do not nap half as much now as I used to. I used to nap every single day.
Oh my god.
I would be like, alright, school's over, I'm going home, we're taking a nap.
Oh my
That's
god.
What's happening.
That's
yes.
so weird.
I love a nap. Many times when I would have singing auditions at that age, I would always be coming straight out of a nap.
Oh yeah, that's...
And I never really got the, like you can't sing after you've been asleep. Like, you can't just wake up and sing and sound the same. Like, someone was coming over to our house for me to sing. A family friend, like, knew someone who, like, was auditioning people to, like, sing the national anthem at, like, a Braves game or some sort of Atlanta sports game. And I had to have my nap. I went home and I took my nap and I woke up and I was like, oh, he's here, alright, here we go. And I was like, and like, you know, I just went through it and was like, he didn't seem to like it, but I was like, I thought that was fine. Heading back to bed, see you around. And so I did that a lot also before, I was in like an audition only traveling chorus, and it was called Ensemble, and I'd always take a nap before Ensemble as well, and I'd go to the rehearsal, and I'd be singing baritone, which is like barely singing, so I was like, this I can do. But then we'd have an audition for a solo, and I'd audition for it, and the conductor, the leader of the group, I don't think liked me very much because of my pop music stuff, and he thought I was better than everyone else because, like, I mean, hello, I was. But He was always so overjoyed when I didn't sound good in these solo auditions because of my nav. And he'd be like, you know, that was a good job, Matt. It's like, fuck you. I know you are so happy that I didn't sound good right now because you don't want to give me a solo. Oh, it was like a lot of politics happening.
What's that bitch doing now?
I mean, I know what he's doing.
Where is she?
He's following me on Instagram. We might have to take this out. But yes, like I could just feel like you're so happy that I didn't do well in this and like are just like over the fucking moon about it.
I hate her.
I mean, it's just what happened. I was there. I mean, I don't have to tell you. I hate to tell a sad story, but you know, I've been vilified all my life. And luckily my talent, my grace, my iconic nature has carried me through. And it's like, sweetie, you see me on those Japan charts now?
Get it,
yes, darling. Season number 2, Get Lost, EP, available now.
So my next embarrassing moment isn't really an embarrassing moment, it's more of a triumphant moment, but like anyone else would be embarrassed except for me. I love the show How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
That makes one of us, it's horrible.
It was my senior year show. And high school, How to Succeed in Business was going back to Broadway. At this point, I was like non-union actor, and I was in no way going to be seen at any audition for this, except to like crash the equity principal audition.
Oh, man.
Well, no. When you're like non-equity, you can crash the equity principal audition. Yeah, you can. You literally just have to like sign your name up on the non-union list, and like at like 3 in the morning, and then like once they go through all the equity people, if they have time, they'll see you.
Okay.
So,
I'm nervous about this.
So I showed up at like 3:30 in the morning because I was like, I will be seen for this, darling, and I will perform the song Rosemary, which is the big comedic. He falls in love with he realizes he falls in love with Rosemary, and he hears music all around him, and he does this like melodramatic ballet and everything. I had it all choreographed.
Shock.
I showed up at like 3 in the morning, signed up on the non-equity list. They're going through the people real fast and everything. I realize, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna be seen. And also this kid like, jumped in front of me, sort of. This other non-equity kid jumped in front of me, like said that he was first on the list when that was a lie, it was me. But I realized with the way things were going, if I had let the kid jump in front of me, I would be the last person to be seen before the casting directors had their lunch break. so I was like, no, I want to leave that impression. I go in the room, I proceed to perform the song Rosemary. I was doing cartwheels, I kicked off the wall. At one point I did like a roll back and
always involving the walls in your auditions.
I do. I was using my space. I was just twirling. I was doing everything you could possibly imagine in 32 bars. I ended on the ground, of course, like all my best auditions. It was the most ridiculous thing I guarantee you this woman has seen all day. I was brilliant. and so as I was done, I was like on the ground, and the woman was just like, thank you, Matt. And I looked up and I was just like, thank you. And so I was just so excited that I got to like perform that number for a Broadway audition. Then I'm by myself in the elevator and it starts to close, and then a hand opens the elevator, and who comes in but the casting director I had just auditioned for, and we rode the elevator down together in complete silence. Because I just knew, I was just like, I just kicked ass. And she's probably just like trembling because she's so intimidated by my prowess. As you can tell, I did not get cast in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying on Broadway. But there's always that next revival.
Did you really think she was like...
I think she was kind of just, I think she was amused. I think she was not expecting to see something so energetic with a lot of fervor. She was probably just like, oh, these young kids. Oh, to be young again auditioning.
These gays.
These gays that just really want it real bad.
Have a lot of heart. The last one isn't terribly embarrassing, but I, in New York, had a show that I was going to do. I was like playing keyboard and singing at some like coffee house that I had like set up or something. And I was dating this guy at the time who like very consistently stood me up for things. But I really liked him. I thought that we could make it work. I have great taste in men if that's not been clear in our time together.
Some things never change.
I wouldn't allow people to I'm currently dating to stand me up.
That's true.
At the time I was like, it's fine, he's busy. But we had met and we had been talking on OkCupid, and one of the first things we talked about was the Leona Lewis album, which had just come out.
Of course.
Young gays, and I was like, oh my god, this is my favorite song from it, this is my favorite song from it. But me being like, I'm dating this guy and we have this Leona connection, I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn Bleeding Love. And I'm going to play it at the coffee house, and like he's going to love it, and everyone's going to love it, and like it'll just be the cover that I do during my set. It's gonna be great. Like, what could go wrong? I learned Bleeding Love. I sang all my songs, I got to the cover, I got through Bleeding Love, and I was like, oh, it went really well, I sounded really good. Looked down to the audience, and he wasn't there. It was just like, well, yes, he was really swamped today. He couldn't.
You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. That is really embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, it's just like so sad. Like I'm about to cry.
I mean, it was embarrassing in the way of like, I sounded great, and like I did the cover well, I didn't forget any of the words, but he wasn't there. All I've learned in life is not to trust men. Especially the ones you're dating.
No.
They'll let you down, they won't show up for your coffee house performance.
But you know what? You sounded great.
I did.
I guarantee you everyone out there was like, yeah.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Tell us below if you have any artistic, embarrassing stories that you'd like to share with us. Clearly we have some, and we'd love to hear more of yours. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Matt Power Music.
It's Matt Steele.
And 2Gay Mats for both of us. And we'll be back soon with another brand new 2Gay Mats.
Bye, guys.
Bye.